Let me ask you a question, and be honest here. What do you think could be possibly the least political thing on the planet that somebody could actually make political? Take your time. Think about it. Because whatever it is that's in your head that you're imagining right now, I trust you. There's something even more ridiculous that could be involved in the culture war. Check this out.
Our freedoms should never be taken for granted. They must be cherished, protected, and defended. When corporations pander to the liberal agenda, they must be punished.
Punish me, Daddy.
When corporations stand up for conservative values, they should be supported.
Here comes.
This brings me to Freedom 2.0, the bottled water company that proudly represents us. They have hilarious sayings on each bottle like, "This water ain't woke," and "bottled with liberal tears." Use the code BILL for a 15% discount and subscribe to Freedom 2.0. We must never discount freedom, but we can discount water as long as you use the code BILL.
So what the dusty, shriveled testicle of a man, Bill O'Reilly, is trying to tell you here is that there's a new product that you can buy to participate in the culture war. Who buddy? Now, also, can we just point out that Bill O'Reilly's mouth is starting to look like an old man's asshole? Yeah, just like that. But you see, if you want to fight the way... No, hang on. Can we also point something else out here? This is really important.
Bottled with liberal tears.
I don't know how many times I've had to point this out, and I'm going to have to apparently say this until I die. When you use tears in that method, it is very commonly a euphemism for cum. Cum. So when you see somebody like with a coffee cup that says liberal tears, that is... And it's not just me; it's a lot of people who understand like the common vernacular and slang of like the late aughts. We think you're bragging about just chugging tons and tons of cum.
Welcome to the cum zone. Only cum inside anime girls.
I don't make the fucking rules on this shit, okay? I just don't. I'm sorry. But you see, now you can fight back against the woke mob, which woke... Let's be real here, is a word that doesn't mean anything anymore. It means a thing that makes me feel uncomfortable and icky in the world. But you can fight back against the woke mob by buying water. Buying water. Holy shit biscuits. Now you might be thinking to yourself, well, Jeff, you try and not be too political on this channel. And I don't want to get too into the politics of it, aside from just how ridiculous it is. But also, I do, first and foremost, bust misinformation, pseudoscience, and scams. And I think overpriced water, trying to promote not just a political message, but also some rather ridiculous scientific claims, well, it's right up my alley, and it's a great excuse for me to laugh at some very stupid people. And make no mistake, if you buy this unironically, you are a stupid, stupid person. Let me explain. Everybody in some way signals their virtue. It just is what it is. It used to be on the internet, if you were called a virtue signaler, that was a bad thing. But ironically enough, most people that were making that claim were also signaling their own virtues by manner of their complaints or the other positions that they took. Everybody does it. Everybody projects what they seem to want to share as their values. And that's fine. That's totally fine. But at the same time, doing it in performative ways, we usually tend to call out. But when it comes to a certain group, a certain cult, it really just is out the goddamn window. All the rules are out the window. It doesn't matter so long as you are still pledging allegiance and participating in the mass group delusion. It's pretty wild. Before anybody gets really mad about that, I'm gonna point this out. I mean, this is literally the people that we're talking about right now. People who want to wear diapers in public so they can signal their virtues. Okay? I mean, yeah, there's a lot of weird and wacky stuff people have done over the years. That might actually be the number one. That might be the limit. Anyway, let's talk about the water. Speak your thirst, protect the first. Yes, purchase product, thus to protect First Amendment. The unapologetic water. The official water of Turning Point USA, also known as the world's first overt grooming organization. I say that and some people get mad, but you do have to keep in mind, Turning Point USA was started out specifically as an action group to try and get young and impressionable, just getting out of high school kids in joining up into the culture war and fighting for a very specific political position. That's been happening for decades and decades, but it's rarely been quite so overt. So I'm just throwing that out there. Join freedom fighters by drinking our product. Why choose us? Our purpose is clear. Deliver a bold, refreshing hydration that empowers you to use your voice without fear. Okay. But here we go. Reverse osmosis. Nothing wrong with that. O3 ozonation. Ultraviolet filtration actually has some valid purposes, but then we get this. This is incredible. 432 hertz frequency. What's that all about? What is that all about? Well, I guess we're just going to have to look into that, aren't we? Now, thankfully, we do have a resource by which we can try and get some further context of what they're talking about. And it's it's actually called the water cooler. And there's all sorts of different stuff. A weekend at Biden's. Praise the Lord and pass the water. I forgot. This is also religious water. I guess. 432 hertz of freedom. Let's go. I'm absolutely into it. Let's go. Did you know that programming water with positive 432 hertz sound frequencies can transform water molecules into beautiful geometric shapes? Freedom 2.0 knows this scientifically proven secret. Discovered by Dr. Masaru Emoto, a scientist and doctor who found that water molecules can change their structure in response to positive sounds and intentions, thus benefiting human health and consciousness. Oh, wow. Freedom 2.0 infuses all our water with 432 hertz ambient music featuring the lyrics of freedom by placing a speaker near the water in our facilities. Now, okay, there's a lot of songs titled Freedom. Which one? One of the co-founders was talking down here in these comments, because this is what the water cooler is for. They post these specific topics. This one is about like the frequency of the water. Then they have like a commentary on socialism or fluoride or cancel culture or whatever. And then you can leave comments. It's very dead on there for the most part, but it's fine. At least you get a little bit more context. And that did give me some clues into who actually runs the company. But again, what is the deal with this 432 hertz, and who is Dr. Masaru Emoto? Well, Dr. Masaru Emoto is a scientist that back in the day was doing these experiments trying to see if different types of emotions being shouted at water would change their molecular structure. And if you've ever seen the abominable movie, What the Bleep Do We Know?, you might have been exposed to this. Or if you know some like very crunchy hippie people, they might have told you about this. And it is, in fact, 100% bullshit. The experiments that Masaru Emoto engaged in were done many decades ago, and what he was trying to do was see if there was a way you could affect the chemistry of water and then later rice in so much as whether it would gather more fungus or not, depending on if they were exposed to a positive or a negative environment. Spoiler alert, when he did it, apparently it worked great and it was awesome. Most likely done through a technique called p-hacking. It's p-hacking. I know, I have to be clear on this channel, right? But in a true shocker du jour, his experiment showed lots and lots of promise. However, when anybody tried to replicate these experiments, and spoiler alert, you can replicate them yourselves, like now, it was shown that nobody could get the same results that Dr. Emoto did. It's curious, but you could do it right now. Take 3 different jars, sterilize them, cook some rice, stick them in the jars, seal them up, put them in 3 different rooms, and then over the course of the next 6 months, walk into one room every day, scream at the jar, walk into another, tell it you love it, and then leave the other one alone as a control. And see if for some reason one grows more fungus or not. But also, the fascinating thing about the water concept is that you can't change the chemistry of water. Water is a chemical. It's a molecule. It's H2O. You can have minerals added to it, but you can't change the chemical structure of water in some form by just playing music at it. It doesn't work. This is not true. This is something that we've been well versed in for years and years. So, yes, debunked. So anyway, now that I've debunked the pseudoscience of this, we can have a little bit more fun. For example, if we continue to look at some of these things, the water cooler, which is basically virtue signaling the values of this anti-woke water, we do have quite some fascinating stuff. It's like they want to hit every single point to make sure everybody's on the same page, which is a little strange, a little weird. In God we trust. It's just water. Why does it have to be like Jesus water now? Water isn't political. Sounds like it might be. I'm just saying, it sounds like it might be. You have the right to be offended, but apparently, you really should just only be offended by woke things. Yeah. It's very strange. Oh, Bitcoin. Of course, Bitcoin. A Bill Clinton reference about Monica Lewinsky. Very, very on point and on brand with the Zoomers. Incredible stuff. Incredible. Bottled with liberal tears. This water ain't woke. This water isn't sleepy. It is fascinating. Utterly fascinating. But let's dig a little bit deeper. You see, Freedom 2.0 or Freedom Water or whatever is not just a water company, it's also a business, which is why you have the people like Charlie Kirk, Bill O'Reilly, Megyn Kelly, et cetera, going off and trying to promote this as much as possible because they're going to earn a commission, which, okay, fine. That's just capitalism. That's how everything works. But it does kind of speak to a very strange situation where you can't just get people on its own merits to hawk Freedom 2.0 because it's actually pretty embarrassing. And none of these people have souls anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But also, I gotta point out, apparently there's a guy named Pro-Life Spider-Man. What the fuck? Earn 10% commission. Recruit 2% team bonus. Access free merchant events. Kind of sounding a little MLM-y, but I mean, I don't know that for sure. I'm definitely not making that claim yet. Okay, well, who are the people behind Freedom 2.0? Well, I did find their LinkedIn page. About us, we hydrate the spirit of freedom-loving Americans across the country one bottle at a time. Our mission is to provide the brave individuals across this great nation with pure water from sea to shining sea. We are thirsty, red-blooded Americans, and this is our water. 2 to 10 employees. All right. Fair enough. But here is the main guy behind it. Cyrus. I'm just going to say Cyrus. I'm not getting canceled by mispronouncing this dude's name. No, thank you. This guy is pretty fascinating. A strategically minded senior executive of 20 years with an accomplished entrepreneurial track record of top-notch technical and business execution. Blah, 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 blah. Cyrus invests in early-stage crypto assets and is a serial entrepreneur, a.k.a. bullshit artist. But this is even better. What's even better than him being a crypto bro? He is a thought leader in the Web3 space and an early innovator of NFT technology. So he's a scam artist. Okay. Sure, why not? Why not? And look, that's just my opinion. But when you've got something like bottled water and you're trying to make it as political as possible and getting big name people to try and push this thing as much as possible when it's just water, I do have to call into question some of your convictions. because this is insane. This is actually just totally nuts. You're not paying for water. You're paying for your virtue signaling. That is what this is about. A 12-pack is $21. Plus, you're going to have to pay for the shipping, I assume. And it's the reason why people want this. Bottled liberal tears. Vote for freedom 2-0. Freedom to speak, freedom to drink. This water ain't woke. Can't deprogram freedom. Water for deplorables. You are paying to advertise for them and for your values. And that is not really any different than wearing a t-shirt, except it's water. It's fucking water. But even more so, the thing that really sticks in my craw about this is supposed to be like rebellious water. We're fighting back against this system, the oppressive system, by having to follow all the same government regulations for making sure that our water is clean and for our packaging and this, that, and the other thing. It's just engaging with corporate America. It's inventing a product that people probably didn't need, but now might want because it's a fad. And that's okay, as long as you can just be honest about it. But it's just water, man. And it's really cringy. Super, super cringy. And one of the most amazing examples of performative virtue signaling I've ever seen. And I felt that that was something worth pointing out. However, I do think if we were to truly take the signaling that you tend to get from this political cult that we're currently having to contend with in this world, I think it could go even further. I think these people are unfortunately kind of beta about how they're drinking their water. And I think that there's a way that they could have been way more hardcore about this. I think so.
When I think of freedom, I think of the rain. I think of how our beautiful earth provides us with everything we need. Which is why I've decided to fight back against fake patriots trying to sell fake water. You see, government regulations are just another form of control, and while some companies bow to those rules, we here at Patriot 2.0 believe it's just part of the woke agenda. All of our water is locally sourced from Mother Nature herself. We don't bother with playing music to our water, that's just ridiculous. Instead, we have each bottle blessed by a 164th Cherokee shaman while high on cough syrup, like God intended. Don't fall for some beta cuck water. Drink P2O and awaken all the patriotic bacteria inside you. Drink the P. Don't bend the knee.